पथगामी नयन पथगामी भवा तुम्हें जया गौरनिताय 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 जय गौरनिताय जय गौरनिताय 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 जय गौरनिताय जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय प्रभुपाद 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 जय जय प्रभुपाद जय जय गुरुदेव 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 जय गुरु गुरुदेव निताय गौर हरि बोल हरि बोल हरि बोल निताय गौर हरि बोल गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। नमो विश्वपाद परमहंस परिव्राजकाचार्य अष्टोत्तरशतहि Divine Grace Abhay Charanavinda Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada ki jai. His founder Acharya, beauty founder Acharya Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Ananta Koti Vaishnava Vrinda ki jai. Namacharya Shri Haridas Thakur ki jai. प्रेम से कहो श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर शिवासदि श्री गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। श्री श्री राधा कृष्ण गोप गोपीनाथ श्याम कुंड राधा कुंड गिरी गोवर्धन की जय। श्री श्री वृंदावन मथुरा धाम की जय। श्री श्रीनवती मायपुर धाम की जय। गंगा माई जमुना माई की जय। भक्ति देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। ग्रंथराज श्रीमद् भागवतम की जय। उपस्थित समवेत गौर भक्तवृंद की जय। निताय गौर प्रेमानंदे हरि हरि बोल। All glories to assembled devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to assembled devotees Hare Krishna. All glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga. All glories to Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Vishwapadaya Krishna Krishna Shrimati Vishwa Somendra Krsna Dasa Prabhupada Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Hare Krishna. Welcome to the Srimad Bhagavatam class. Today we are reading from second canto, chapter 4, titled The Process of Creation, text number 2. Atmajaya sutagara pashudravina bandhushu rajye chavaikale nityam viruddham mamatam jahau. Atmajaya sutagara pashudravina bandhushu rajye chavaikale nityam viruddham mamatam jahau. Atmajaya sutagara pasudravina bandhushu raje chavikale nityam viruddham mamatam jahau. Word by word translation. Atma, body. Jaya, wife. Suta, son. Agara, palace. Pashu, horses and elephants. Dravina, treasury house. Bandhushu, unto friends and relatives. Rajaye, in the kingdom. Cha, also. Avikale, without being disturbed. Nityam, constant. Viruddham, deep-rooted. Mamatam, affinity. Jahau, give up. Translation and purport by Srila Prabhupada, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki Jai. Translation. Maharaj Parikshit, as a result of his wholehearted attraction for Lord Krishna, was able to give up all deep-rooted affection for his personal body, his wife, his children, his palace, his animals like horses and elephants, his treasury house, his friends and relatives, and his undisputed kingdom. Purport. To become liberated means to become free from Dehatma Buddhi, the illusory attachment for personal bodily coverings, and everything connected with the body, namely wife, children, and all other entanglements. One selects a wife for bodily comforts, and the result is children. For wife and children, one requires a dwelling place, and as such, a residential house is also necessary. Animals like horses, elephants, cows, and dogs are all household animals, and a householder has to keep them as household paraphernalia. In modern civilization, the horses and elephants have been replaced by cars and conveyances with considerable horsepower. To maintain all the household affairs, one has to increase the bank balance and be careful about the treasury house. And in order to display the opulence of material assets, one has to keep good relations with friends and relatives, as well as become very careful about maintaining the status quo. This is called material civilization of material attachment. Devotion for Lord Krishna means negation of all material attachments as detailed above. By the grace of Lord Krishna, Maharaj Parikshit was awarded all material amenities and an undisputed kingdom in which to enjoy the undisturbed position of king. But by the grace of the Lord, he was able to give up all connection with material attachment. That is the position of a pure devotee. Maharaj Parikshit, due to his natural affection for Lord Krishna as a devotee of the Lord, was always executing his royal duties on behalf of the Lord. And as a responsible king of the world, he was always careful to see that the influence of Kali would not enter his kingdom. A devotee of the Lord never thinks of his household paraphernalia as his own, but surrenders everything for the service of the Lord. Thereby, living entities under a devotee's care get the opportunity for God realization by the management of a devotee master. Attachment of household paraphernalia and for Lord Krishna go poorly together. One attachment is the path of darkness, and other attachment is the path of light. Where there is light, there is no darkness, and where there is darkness, there is no light. But an expert devotee can turn everything to the path of light by an attitude of service to the Lord. And the best example here is Pandavas. Maharaj Yudhishthir and householders like him can turn everything to light by dovetailing so-called material assets in the service of the Lord. But one who is not trained or is unable to turn everything to the service of the Lord, Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe, must give up all material connection before he can be fit to hear and chant the glories of the Lord. Or in other words, one has seriously heard Srimad Bhagavatam for every one day, like Parikshit Maharaj, from a fit personality like Sukadev Goswami, may be able to lose all affinity for material things. There is no utility simply in imitating Maharaj Parikshit and hearing Bhagavatam from professional men, even for 700 years. To take Srimad Bhagavatam as means of maintaining family expenditure is the grossest type of namaparad offense at the feet of the Lord. Sarva subha kriya samyam api pramada. Om Agyana Timirandhasya Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshurmidham Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manovishtam Sthapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Sa Padantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yuta Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavamscha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagra Nutam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parigarashetam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Shri Vishakhanitam Sya. He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dinabandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostate Tapta Kanchana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Shavhanu Sute Devi Pranamami Hari Priye Vancha Kalpataru Vascha Vipa Sindhu Vaevacha Patitanang Pavanevyo Vaishnavevyo Namo Namaha. Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivashadi Shri Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Srivandu Sahasram Bhikam Krishna Hare Krishna. So, this chapter, we see that from the conclusion of third chapter and the beginning of fourth, here Sutta Goswami is depicting that how Parikshit Maharaj is exhibiting the symptoms of a pure devotee. So in the first verse, it shows that the attachment of Parikshit Maharaj to the Lord, like in every aspect of his life, is connected with the Lord, and he is very much attached. So attachment with Krishna in every aspect of his life, that has been shown in first text, and in the second text, it's showing the detachment from all the worldly affairs. So Parikshit Maharaj, as we know, that he is the emperor of universe. So it's not only one country, it's like, he is emperor of, that huge kingdom. But even after that, he was very much detached with everything, with all his household affairs. So that's why you see that at the beginning of the purport, Srila Prabhupada mentioned about Dehatma Buddhi. So Dehatma Buddhi means the illusory attachment for personal bodily coverings and everything connected with the body, namely wife, children, and all other entanglements. So when we have Dehat, and this is the nature of the material world, that when Dehatma Buddhi covers someone, basically it is against the Vyavasatmika Buddhi. So we read in Bhagavad Gita that Vyavasatmika Buddhi ekahi kurunandana. So Vyavasatmika Buddhi means like one who is resolute in Krishna consciousness. So Krishna is saying that the devotees who have, who are fixed in Krishna consciousness, they have single aim in their life, and that's to surrender to the lotus feet of the Lord. So, and if that's not there, if that is that aim is that is not the single most aim in someone's life, then in the next line, the Lord saying that Bahushaka Anantascha Buddhihi Avyavasatmika. So if there is not that single lane, then that bahushakhanantascha. So it goes into various, all other different ways. And then we try to serve so many different things. And obviously that is connected to our body. And in that way what happened? That we basically get lost in this whirlpool of this material world. We keep working hard. We keep put our time and effort to satisfy our body, our family, with all other paraphernalia attached with us. And we are not able to make anyone happy. Like everyone, because we are not, we are not complete. So that's why we can't give anything complete to anyone else. So if someone expects, here Srila Prabhupada mentioned that one selects a wife for bodily comforts and the result is children. So first of all, how it's moving, we to go into the household affairs in Grihastha ashram. First, we chose someone, and then they become our partner, and then we have children, and then to keep them, we need to have work, we need to have money, and for keeping them, we need a house and all other necessary things which comes along it. But time and again, we see that it's very hard to please. In this material world, it's very hard to please anyone else. Because everyone, when I'm expecting something, I'm expecting that to the fullest. But as we are not full, so if someone expects something from me, I can't give it to that full extent to that some person. So if someone expects love from me, if someone expects guidance from me, if someone expects protection from me, I can't give it to the full extent because I don't have it. So that's where the frustration, that's where the sadness, the sorrow, all these things comes. So that's why this Dihatma Buddhi doesn't take us, doesn't make us happy, whereas the Vyavasatmika Buddhi is actually bring us near to Krishna. And in that way, what happened that basically when we come closer to the Krishna, as Krishna is full with all the opulences, we also get the test of that. It doesn't, it is not like that we want to come near to Krishna so that we can get all those opulences in full, but it's just that, just to think about from the part of protection, specifically in this current situation, everybody is looking for some kind of protection. Everybody is worried that, what's going to happen to me? What's going to happen to my family? What's going to happen to my work? It's what's going to happen to all the other things? And everybody is looking for some or other, some kind of protection. Now, who can protect us? We can take shelter of various things. We can take shelter of, we are under the shelter of our government. We are under the shelter of this WHO. We are under the shelter of other countries. There are various other different layers of shelters. But can anyone give us the full protection? No. We don't get that assurance that, I'm protected. But for a devotee, when a devotee offer their obeisances to the Lord, when they come closer to the Lord, when they listen to all the glories of the Lord and how merciful He is, then suddenly from the heart, that sense of protection comes, that no, I am protected. We pray to Nrsimhadev that, that during all the, calamities, please protect us. So it's Nrsimhadev, when we recite the pranam mantra for Nrsimhadev, that Bhakti Vigna Vinashi. So Bhakti Vigna Vinashi Nrsimhadev Bhagavan ki jai. So Bhakti Vigna Vinashi, who is, Vigna means who is disrupting our bhakti. And who Vinash means who destroys that. Who destroys those disruptions. That is Nrsimhadev. So we seek shelter from Nrsimhadev. And we can see that, we are under the protection. We see during all this calamity, we see that the devotees, they are actually in a better state. Yeah, some devotees, unfortunately, they get affected, but like majority of them, they are all protected. They are in a good state of mind. Even during this isolation, it helped lots of devotees actually to bring up their sadhana to the level that they always wanted to bring. So it's wonderful. We see that sense of protection which comes from the Lord. And there are various factors to it, that we see, from example of Parikshit Maharaj, how he was protected, right, from the Lord from the very beginning of his life, before even he was born. He was on the womb of his mother, and when the Brahmastra, the nuclear bomb, was thrown to him by Ashwatthama, and it is something that that a weapon is some weapon that if you are throwing it to someone, you can't take it, it will destroy that. There is no way that it's only Krishna can protect you from that, because obviously Brahma is Brahmastra. From Brahma that astra come. So who is more superior to Brahma? That is Krishna, who can actually destroy that weapon. So when the Brahma, and we see that when the Brahmastra went into the womb of Uttvara, it created this huge heat within the womb, and it was described that Parikshit Maharaj's original body was actually burnt out by that heat. But then Krishna came, and then he created his body again. So Krishna could have easily destroyed the weapon before it went inside the womb. But just because it is a Brahmastra, just to keep his devotee, Brahma's his fame also, so that he didn't want to just destroy it. So he let the weapon went. The weapon did its work, but then Krishna again created Parikshit Maharaj's body. So and we see that what kind of protection this is. This is protection to the highest stage. That someone's body is gone, and then Krishna bring it back. So it's that's why we see from the example that from Parikshit Maharaj, the two things are quite essential for our for someone to be in Krishna consciousness, to come into the Krishna consciousness. The first one is the birth, and second one is finding a bona fide spiritual master. Because without these two, it's very hard to actually come in contact with Krishna consciousness. And that's what we see in this current world. Although within ISKCON we think that we are quite big, but compared to the world population, we are not even 0.5%. So that's but that's the thing. It's lots of things depends when someone wants to comes in the vicinity of Krishna consciousness. So the birth, it's important, and finding a bona fide spiritual master. So we see that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu instructing Srila Rupa Goswami in Madhya Lila, chapter 19, 151, very famous verse. Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagavan Jeev, Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beej. So Brahmanda, again, Brahmanda is like the universe. Brahmanda Brahmite Kono Bhagavan Jeev. So we are as part of this 8.4 million different species, we are moving. Brahmite means you are circumambulating, and you are moving from different places. Kono Bhagavan Jeev, it's only few fortunate soul. Guru Krishna Prasade Pai Bhakti Lata Beej. By the mercy of Guru and Krishna. So mercy is here is described as prasad. So by the mercy of Guru and Krishna, receive Bhakti Lata Beej in their heart. So the so the seed of bhakti actually get planted in their heart. So we see that for this example of Parikshit Maharaj, so by birth, he was under the protection of Parikshit, of Lord Krishna, and then when this pastime happened that he got cursed by a Brahmana boy, then what happened that he came in contact with his with spiritual master, Sukadeva Goswami. So that's how someone's life get becomes successful. That they are under protection of the Lord, and they're also finding the Guru. That's very important, because without this, sometimes we take these things for granted. But this is very important to understand that it's only we have done probably something. That's why we are in ISKCON. We are in the shelter of Srila Prabhupada has created this institution, and we actually, by virtue of Srila Prabhupada and all the acharyas, we came in contact with of the Lord. Because without that, it would have been very easy that we could have gone to some other places, and who knows, after how many lifetimes we could have come back here, right? So we see that example of Parikshit Maharaj, and also then we see the example of Narad Muni, right? So Narad Muni was a son of a maidservant in his previous life. Narad Muni was a son of a maidservant, and him and his mother were staying in an ashram. And somehow or other, during a period of Chaturmasya, where the sannyasis, they don't travel, they stop their travel and they stay at one place during the Chaturmas, and they do all their devotional practice at that place. So they have a group of sannyasis who came into that ashram, and they were staying during that Chaturmasya period. And Narad Muni's mother and Narad Muni, they were serving them. And Narad Muni, he was a kid, and by seeing that a kid is serving so nicely, he used to get the remnants of the food from the sages, from those sannyasis, and see what happened to him. But just by that, just by having the remnants, the prasad from the elevated soul, he became Narad Muni in his next life. And in our parampara, Narad Muni is in the top, like Brahma, Narad. He's one of the topmost acharyas. So that shows the importance of Guru Krishna Prasad. So without the Guru Krishna Prasad, it's actually not possible. It's very hard to progress in this spiritual life. And how to get that mercy? How to get that mercy? Obviously, the question, so now we have discussed, and we know that, we have to have this. But how we can get it is by constant hearing and listening to the glories of the Lord. Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya. So without that, it's not possible to get that prasad. No, it's not possible to get that mercy. And we see, in this purport, Prabhupada is mentioning that it's very important. If we don't understand this point, and we actually keep delve into our material affairs, the results will be we will be further lost. Here it says that Prabhupada is mentioning that to maintain all the household affairs, one has to increase the bank balance and be careful about the treasury house. And in order to display the opulence of material assets, one has to keep good relation with friends and relatives, as well as become very careful about maintaining the status quo. So this, it becomes so entangled. If we are not into Krishna consciousness, but we are into the material consciousness, we have to maintain so many things on our own. We have to maintain the family, and then we have to maintain good relationships with the friends. We have to maintain, and obviously, in Krishna consciousness, we are friends. Devotees are friends among each other because they have a common goal, because both of them wants to serve the Lord. But outside, in the material world, it's different because they don't have a common goal. Each of them wants to satisfy themselves. So that's why the personal agendas are always there. So that's why there is no sign of love, rather than it's always give and take. So whenever it's give and take, it's not everyone is trying to think, okay, how can I benefit from this person? Like they say that, there's friends with benefits. You have friends who comes with benefits. But in Krishna consciousness, it's not the case. It's basically, okay, you are here, I'm here, and our goal is the same. So we are here to serve the Lord. And in that state of mind, basically there is no enmity amongst each other. There is no enmity, even so between the so-called friendship in the materialistic way, that we see that people always there are instances where harming each other. There are always instances where friendships are broken for a long time. Lots of friendships which were there for a long time gets broken just by some mere things. And we then try to understand why that happened. They were such good friends. But then, when you found out, because that person wanted something, that person wanted something. Both were try to please themselves, but they never try to please each other. So pleasing each other never worked, because obviously our materialistic society is built in such a way that it always forces us to please ourselves first and then someone else. That's how we see. Now, in this, and as a result of that, we see that it's nothing is permanent in material world. Everything is temporary. The relationships, everything is temporary. You have a very good relationship with someone today, and then something happened and it just goes away. But at the same time, we see in Krishna consciousness, when we see devotees, they have such nice relationship years after years. Until if they don't have, if they have something which they are hankering materially, at the same time being in the devotional service, that doesn't work. That becomes a kind of a person with their 2 feet in 2 different boats. If a person is in a river and he wants to go from one side to another side, and if there is 2 boats, and they say, and he thinks, okay, let me try to use both the boats, and I put my feet in both the boats, what happens? After some time he will fall into the water. He can't balance it. So that balance between spiritual and material doesn't, it's not, it doesn't happen. It's basically take you to to the stage of hypocrisy. Yes, I'm trying to commit for this Krishna consciousness life, but at the same time, I'm having all this material attachment. And to be honest, if someone is very sincere and very dedicated into this Krishna conscious life, then all the other material attachments, steadily they goes down. The attachment to all those material affairs. So as as someone's involvement and interest in Krishna consciousness activity grows, the material, all the other interest in the material things, they goes down. So, but if someone wants to maintain that status quo, that okay, I'll be doing this service, but at the same time I'll be also having this, because then what happened? It doesn't work. And Srila Prabhupada mentioned that in this purport that attachment for household paraphernalia and for Lord Krishna go poorly together. One attachment is the path of darkness, and other attachment is path of light. Where there is light, there is no darkness. And where there is darkness, there is no light. So just such wonderfully explained here. If someone is with Krishna, that is in the path of light. And if Krishna is not there, then it's a path of darkness. And obviously, the light, and if there is light, there can't be darkness, and if there is darkness, then there can't be, there is no light. So that's why, devotees, and that's why it's required that the second aspect that we discussed, that for a spirit, to have a which helps in Krishna consciousness life, is to find a spiritual master, because spiritual master always instruct us. We are going through this process which Srila Prabhupada has given us, that Krishna consciousness lifestyle, right? And time and again, spiritual masters, they actually remind us about the instructions. That, okay, this is how you should do it. This is how you should do it. And you get the instruction and then you apply it. So without that application, those instructions is just mere some words. So that's why the training is, you keep listening to those instructions, keep listening to this instruction. At some point of time, you will apply it. Because without that application, it will not, you will be, in that situation where you are in Krishna consciousness, for so many years, but still, you don't see, when you read Srimad Bhagavatam and see the glorification of the devotees, of Krishna's devotees, and how wonderful they are feeling, all the joy and happiness, and then you feel why I'm not feeling it? That's the reason. So, Prabhupada mentioning that living entities under a devotee's care get the opportunity for God realization by the management of a devotee master. So this devotee master is obviously, Prabhupada is mentioning about a spiritual master. So without the guidance of the spiritual master, it's very hard to actually, if someone, to understand the aim of the life. And also, if we are not understanding the aim of the life, then, and if we just know about it, but we are not applying it, then it becomes something you are, it's a glass, it's a jar of honey, and you are licking the jar up from outside. You know that the honey is sweet. And if you open the jar, you can get the honey, but you are not making that endeavor to open the jar, take out the honey, offer to the Lord, and then you test it. No, you're just licking it from the outside, and you're feeling, oh, someday the taste will come. But it's just not going to happen. So that's why it's important that the point that to have the instruction to when we have this instruction of spiritual master and senior, all the acharyas, it needs to be applied. Without that, there is no progress. And when someone actually take to that instruction, they apply them in their life, then what happened? That then they become an expert devotee in Krishna consciousness. And Prabhupada mentioned that an expert devotee can turn everything to the path of light by an attitude of service to the Lord. And the best example here is the Pandavas. Maharaj Yudhishthir and householders like him can turn everything to light by dovetailing so-called material assets in the service of the Lord. But one who is not trained or is unable to turn everything to the service of the Lord, Nirbandha Krishna Sambandhe, must give up all material correction before he can be fit to hear and chant the glories of the Lord. Or in other words, one who has seriously heard Srimad Bhagavatam for every day, like Maharaj Parikshit, from a fit personality like Shukadev Goswami, may be able to lose all affinity for material things. So either we take shelter of expert devotees, and then that devotees can dovetail all these material assets towards Krishna's service. That all of us we have our material body and gross body. We have materially and material body, we have our gross body and subtle body. And gross and subtle, we have we can contribute in both the ways to the service of the Lord. So either we can serve using those to serve the material energies or to the Lord. And here it's saying that expert devotee can take everything which is connected, he or she is connected in in the material world, and dovetail them all to Krishna's service. That's how, the transformation happened. The information then help you, that the information that you do, when the information, application, transformation. That's how this 3 stages goes. Look, we are getting the information, we are getting the knowledge, we put it into application, and then the transformation. So that's without, but the point is, here is if any of in this chain, if anywhere we try to use it for our own benefit, then the whole thing just goes away. It just doesn't work. So we just have to make sure that we apply it for the service of the Lord, rather than for the service of ourselves. And then Srila Prabhupada is mentioning it at the end, is there is no utility simply in imitating Maharaj Parikshit and hearing Bhagavatam from professional men, even for 700 years. So that's why, if someone wants to imitate and someone wants to use this, knowledge, oh, now I get this knowledge and now I'm this big scholar, please, put 100 garlands on me and things like that. If someone wants to use it for personal benefit, then Prabhupada is mentioning, it's so hard. And Prabhupada was he's so precise that what if, 7 days, if you even listen Srimad Bhagavatam for 700 years, it's not going to work. So Prabhupada is ending it by saying, to take Srimad Bhagavatam as a means of maintaining family expenditure is the grossest type of namaparad, offense at the feet of the Lord. So that's why we have to really, really careful that, once we are getting this information and how we are applying it, it's it's very important. We shouldn't apply it to actually, comfort our, or to false ego, or to extend our false ego, rather than we should get that knowledge. And yes, people will come to me, come to all of us and said, okay, yes, very nice, you have all this information, you know all this verse and things like that, but we shouldn't take it as a glorification to ourselves, rather than pass on that glorification to the Lord, because from there that knowledge came. So that's why it's in this verse, we see that how nicely Parikshit Maharaj, although he was in a position of, he has all these worldly positions, and one of the actually point I forgot to mention, that his worldly positions, he was a king and he was having all these assets, they are all undisputed. Just imagine, there was no one who was disputing it, that, okay, you are the king, or, no, you can't have this, you can't have this. Currently, not even in this material world, we see that if someone becomes a prime minister of a country, or if even king, there is always someone who is disputing that. Even if in an organization someone becomes the top, there is always other group who will be disputing it. So it is in a material world that there will be someone who is disputing it. But Parikshit Maharaj was in a position that nobody was disputing that he is the leader. But still, he was all those material things, because from the beginning, he knew that all such things, that these all things are temporary, and these are all actually belongs to Krishna. Nothing is much. My body is just a it's a medium to actually serve the Lord. So that's why when all those things, that he knew that just 7 days is remaining to give up all those things, didn't make any big effect on him. He's saying, okay, that's fine. Now the time came. I have to leave. Rather, I'll just surrender to the not he was only surrendered. Rather than I will just commit myself to sit down and listen to the glories of the Lord for the next 7 days, and I will give up all these things. And it didn't make any big issue for him. But we see that for ourselves, just to give up something small, even how big that becomes. Like we become so much frustrated. People goes into depression and things like that. So that's why, the base, as far as we recognize what is our biggest asset is, and we actually commit ourselves to that. That is the success of our life, and that biggest asset of us is the holy name. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Thank you all. Thank you all for listening to the Srimad Bhagavatam class. Granth Raj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande. Hari Hari Bol.